Gute. So we tested it and clearly the drum set is beyond repair, right? So we can start with the project. The idea was to build like a cat tree, a cool cat tree for 2 cats. And yeah, what better base to have than an old drum set, right? Because we already have like those caves and those round shapes, and we just put it above each other and build our own cat tree. So how hard can it be, right? First of all, very sorry for the audio. The studio is not ready yet, so but bear with me. And second of all, this is kind of unscripted, and in the middle I stopped recording footage. So basically it's just cleaning up the drums, and then I give you a tour about the finished product. But yeah, it's quite cool. As you see, we just started with removing the old skin from the drums. This will leave us with some wooden drums, obviously. And I took some flooring and just put it on there, just to give the cats something to lay on, which is a bit smooth, but also they can like scratch it without damaging it immediately. So maybe they get a month of scratching value from from all the surfaces, right? Next of all, they are just press fitted, so I used the flooring and put it around, and then I add the rims of the toms, and it basically worked. I didn't have to add any more glue than the double-sided sticky tape that was already attached. And for some aesthetics, I added the rings and the clamps for the rings as well. One of the toms, I think the second tom, so should be like a resting place for the cats, and therefore I removed the old drum surface and replaced it with some fabric like here. And this is also just press fitted in there. It's a bit hard because now we have like the flooring and 2 layers of the fabric in between the ring and the wood, but yeah, a little bit percussive maintenance and it works out fine. Nice. So that's what I'm doing here. Looking good, right? Nice. What did we do next? Yeah, it's nice, I see. The idea was that the snare is like too shallow to use it as on its own, so I cut out little bends on the bottom and on the top, and it should sit between the bass drum, which is still the base of all the finished product, and the big tom, the tom 3. So basically we have like those valleys here, and then we can put them all together. And this leaves us with the smallest tom, which basically should just be a resting place for the cats. And that's as far as I recorded. And it's done. Look at this. Isn't it cool? It is cool. Hope it's cool, because it was a hell of a pain to put it together. Okay, let me walk you through it. Let's start with me saying that I'm more than pleased how it turned out. It is really nice. Yeah, let's start at the bottom. As you can see, I 3D printed some foots for it, because the screws the nuts are looking out here, and I didn't want them to touch the ground. Therefore, it has 4 shoes. I got into metal bending and built like these brackets. See, they go down there until the middle of the drum, and then we have this bent piece up here, and it connects on 4 places, on this and that. And at the bottom also there are two screws securing it to the plate with washers and everything. Don't mind the apprentice hole here. And this is on all the places. So then we have the first cave, which is actually the bass drum, if we go back. And yeah, you see it's lined with carpet, so the inner carpet is just glued in place. And the outer carpet is just clamped in place by the rings that came with the drum. Like there's one and there's the other one. And then we just hammered it on. And on the back it's an old pin board. We bolted and glued it there. So it basically can still be used as a pin board if you like to. Right? But who wants to? Right. Then on top we have the reflecting snare drum, as you see, which was funny because I had to cut it out at the top and at the bottom to like be a stand, to stand on the bass drum and to give a stand to the 3-tom, tom-tom 3, the big one, because this is the second cave. You may see that I also had to bend 2 pieces of metal. One is down below here, which just adds as a backing thing for the rod. There's a rod going through the snare. Maybe you can see, yeah, you can see it. There it is. And it goes down here. And on top we do have the second rod. You may see it here. Also, and this is clamping both drums together. Right. Also the carpet inside is glued and the carpet outside is also just hammered into the original ring. But this was quite easy and it looks good. Then, since this cat tree is for 2 cats, we had to have like 2 elevated resting points. And one is the first one is the 3rd tom. Actually, I just prepared it as the other ones, but I also added the receivers for the bolts for the top ring here. This was a bit trickier because I added the carpet and then 2 layers of this thick fabric to create like a lying area up here, to create like an area up here where they can sit. So I had to use some more force to get it down and to actually attach. And for the attachment to the tom-tom, I just used those 2 because the original drum set came with 2 toms. So there's the second tom. And both toms were connected via these things. And there was a dual receptacle on the bass drum. And I just took the receptacle of the small tom up here and the receptacle of the medium tom up here and added the tom-tom holder in between, and so it's now linked to the big tom and looks like this. And the good thing about this mounting is we can swivel it around as we want, so we can unfasten it here and maybe it will not destroy my hand. We can unfasten it and then we can move it around as we want, and we can increase and decrease the height. Only thing to do is we have to cut this rod here after we decided on the final height of this resting place. And for the second resting place, we thought about adding like a longer piece so they can lay down. Therefore is this pillow up here. And as you can see, this is basically the tiny tom cut in half. And then there are steel bars down here to connect them. So this is one unit now. Then we have a 3D printed mount down there. And one of these cat tree stands here. They are everywhere on the normal cat tree. Only thing we did was we used new rope. We removed the old scratched up and beaten up rope and added a new one. At the bottom we added like an end cap because this was ugly plastic, and like an L bracket to keep it in place. And again, starting up the bending machine, cranking up the manual bending machine, and created those shaped brackets to hold it in place. So this is like really sturdy now. Right. Yeah, so they can lay down there or here. They can lay down there or here and should be happy now. As a final touch, we added some of this rope at the corners, like here and there to hide all the other crimes, and added like a little toy dangling around there. And I really hope that the cat owner and the cats will be happy with this thing. And it's actually quite high. Okay, now it's right now it's standing on the rollers because I don't want to push it around and scratch the bottom, my floor. But I think this goes to like, now it's up to 160 or so, 1 meter and 60 centimeters. One thing you see is that this actual scratching area for the cats is now really reduced, because they only have this tower to scratch on, because this stuff here doesn't have a chance if the cat tries scratching it. We will see. But one thing we came up with to mitigate this was to add like the stair, something like this board here, which obviously will be added once it's at its final location. But this way they have a secondary scratching area, and they have an easier way to get up to there. Right. I don't have any concerns about them getting up there, because this cat tree will be located next to a staircase which will go on two sides of the cat tree, right? So they can just use the stairs and jump off from the stairs into the... Right. Only took me half a year, but I think the way it turned out is quite cool, and the final result was worth the wait, I think. I hope. And I also hope that the owner of the cats will agree. Okay. One learning from all of this is think about what you do and when you do your steps, because grinding off those nuts, the bolts from the nuts, and then have the blowout push away your fabric you used to cover this, yeah, will burn everything below. But therefore we have the pillow and everything is fine again. Yay! Thanks a lot for watching. Let me know what you built for your cats. Sorry for the shaky vision. Goodbye. Just a few beauty shots here.